Dear students, welcome and thank you for tuning in. We are starting lecture 15 in the product design and development course, which is prototyping. In this lecture, we're going to talk about what prototyping is and what are the steps and the methodology we need to use in order to have successful prototyping. So before we start in this lecture, please check this website, keynesarcade.com. It has a video. I've also shared the link of the video on your portal as well so that you can watch it. It talks a lot to prototyping, and it can give us a lot of ideas of how we should proceed. So Keynes is a fellow, a young kid who started a very smart idea, and you can get the idea by watching the video. After you watch the video, please come back and we will continue our discussion in this video. All right. So if you completed the video, have you watched it? So Keynes, now you know the story of Keynes. Keynes also had a very important message to communicate for all entrepreneurs and anyone who starts a product or designing a product, who develop and design products. So he wrote a message actually on a barf bag on Air France Airlines, and he had 5 lessons written for entrepreneurs. And lesson 1 is be nice to customers. It's very important. Lesson 2, do a business that is fun. It's a very important aspect as well. And also the third one, do not give up. And Keynes circled and underlined this message. It's very important for him. So never give up. And if you look at if you watch the video, you can see why. Never giving up is important. The fourth is start with what you have, and that relates a lot to prototyping. And the fifth one is use recycled stuff, and also that's very clear from the video if you watched it. So let's dig in and see what prototyping is and how we're going to use it in relation to our products that we are developing in this class. So if you remember, this is the product development process. So we start from planning, concept development, system level design, detailed design, testing and refinement, and then production ramp up. And prototyping is something that is done along the entire process. So, and it's very important to understand that. So in this lecture, we will define a prototype and prototypes and prototyping. We're going to explain why prototypes are built and present several principles of prototyping practices, which are very important for us. So I'm sure that you built cardboards and you built you made some drawings and sketches. All of those are prototypes. We need now to learn a very detailed process and methodology to move forward to create our final prototype, the alpha prototype that we want to develop. We will also describe a method for planning prototypes before they are built. So we've been building, immediately after we discuss it. If you discuss an idea, then you build it. Now we need to talk about some methodology for this process. To define prototypes, prototypes are defined as approximation. It's very important. So it's approximation of the product along one or more dimensions of interests. So you don't have to have a complete comprehensive product. You can have only one aspect of your product. And when we talk about dimensions of interest, there are interest by the team or the customers. They can be coming from needs. So you can build a prototype that addresses only at least one dimension, and then we can say that it's a prototype. So any entity that exhibits at least one aspect, it can be viewed as a prototype. That's from the general definition that we are following. So there are a lot of forms of prototypes. So you can have concepts, and these forms, if you can see, we have these stars here along the way in our development process, and this means that we've done prototyping in all these stages in different forms. So those forms could be like concept sketches, and this is what we did in concept generation, right? In the concept development, we did a lot of sketches and we did a lot of concepts. So those are prototypes actually. Mathematical models, simulations. When we did the system level design, we did product architecture development, and we defined final assembly schemes. So all of these can be seen as prototypes. And then we did detailed design of the parts and material selection. So we were actually along the way doing prototyping as we move on. And then we did testing and refinement, and that's the very most important part, where prototyping is clear and that we have a clear process and methodology to use it. So you can create models, simulation, you can test components. That's what we did when we did all the detailed design and the system level design, and fully functional pre-production versions of our product. So it's very important to understand that prototyping is a continuous process along our development process. And we will discuss in this lecture some key aspects and elements and methodologies to move forward in creating our alpha prototype for the products that you are developing. This is an introduction. Thank you for watching, and till the next video. Bye.